welcome to Cook Cook Cook. Hope you and your family is doing really well. This is our very first episode and we're going to make a rice kheer together. So this is a very simple recipe with very few ingredients. However, it requires a lot of your care and love. So let's go right into it and see how it is made. So now let's quickly look at the ingredients required. The first would be basmati rice, which is soaked in water, washed and soaked in water. And then I have about 1 liter of milk and about a cup of sugar and 5 to 6 crushed cardamom seeds or elaichi. So you do have an alternative of using the essence, but however it is not recommended considering the factor of it being synthetic materials. And the next thing is dry fruits. I have about 150 grams of almonds and cashew and some good ghee. All right, so these are the ingredients that we would require to start off with this. So let's get to cooking it. All right, so we have our kadai on the stove. Let's bring up the flame and get this heated up. So once the kadai is heated, it's time for our milk to go in. So you might have a question why I poured water before pouring the milk. The reason is the consistency of the liquid. So when I pour milk directly into a hot kadai, there is a possibility or a chance of the milk burning instantly because it is much thicker. So I just added a little bit of water so that I don't pour milk directly into it and cause for it to burn. Alright, so let the milk get heated. While the milk is getting heated, we will cut these nuts. Make sure to just give it a stir in between just to ensure nothing is getting condensed at the bottom. So what I'm using here is a very thick version of the milk. So we have to condense this milk, and during the process you would see milk getting dried up on the corners. So just make sure to push that into the milk just so that you have more thicker and creamier kheer. And now I will put in our basmati rice, which has been soaking for about 40 minutes. you would see some good cream that is getting condensed. This is basically the milk itself, and I believe all of you all know the process of making milk koa. So milk koa is basically condensed milk, right? So when you boil milk for about I think an hour or so, and keep stirring it consistently, you will get koa, or that gets converted to koa. Yeah, that gets converted to koa. So approximately, if you boil about a liter of milk, thick milk, you would get like 200 to 250 grams of koa. And if you have a possibility of buying it directly from any farm or farmer where you get milk without adulteration, like without adding water or doing anything to it, then you'll get like amazing koa. Alright, now it's time to add our elaichi powder. So why I'm adding it at this phase is because the flavor of the elaichi would go into the rice as it is cooking. You do have other options, like you could add rose water, which would give it that different kind of flavor, and this is a different flavor. So yeah, it is completely the choice of the cook, which is you. So at this phase, just be careful to constantly keep stirring it, because there is a chance that if you let it stay for long, it would burn, the milk would burn, and literally the kheer would become flavorless, because what would dominate is the flavor of the burnt portion of the milk. So you'll get a burnt flavoring kheer. There are ways to use that as well. So once you start spending a lot of time in the kitchen, you will explore options how you can change a dish to something else rather than ending up wasting it. So let's give this some time, and keep remember to keep stirring every 2 minutes. There is a lot of fragrance of the elaichi mixed with the basmati rice that is cooking. So I can literally smell all of it here. We have to continue to stir until we reach the consistency that we require. And remember that I haven't added any sugar to it yet, because milk naturally has a little bit of sweetness. So we wait until this gets a little thick, and once it has reached the consistency that we require, we will add the sugar. And post adding the sugar, you would notice that this gets a little bit more liquid, like the consistency becomes more liquid once the sugar is added. So post that, we will boil it for some more time. So just let it boil for a while again while we reach the consistency that we require. So if you can see, the rice has started cooking, and it's getting a little longer. So yeah, we are getting to where we want it to. It's best if you use a non-stick kadai because in a regular kadai you will find it a lot more difficult to stir this while the milk keeps condensing and setting on the sides. So like I said, you would have to scrape all of that into the milk to make the kheer very thick and have the creamy consistency that you want it to have. Okay, now see, the milk has gotten a little bit condensed, but we are still a long way to where we want to be. Again, reminding you, everything that's on the corners is the cream, and that's what adds more flavor to your kheer. So make sure to keep mixing it into the milk. Continue to stir the milk and while your kheer is getting ready. Talk about the amount or measurement of rice that I have taken for this. It is 1 liter of milk, and for each liter I have taken about 5 to 6 tablespoons of rice. It might appear like it is too little for kheer, but once the milk keeps condensing, that quantity would appear to be perfect. You can see the milk is gotten reduced, and we can see the color of the milk changing as well as it's getting thicker. Now you can see the milk has gotten quite thick and has condensed as well. So just make sure to keep alternating your flame between high and low. And one tip to remember whenever your flame is on high is never take your spatula off the kadai, because there is a good chance that on high flame the milk starts to burn. So that's something that we want to avoid. So the rice is cooked really well. Now we want to cook it further until an extent where it's easy to smash the rice, right? So we want it to be in a way where the rice and milk is almost like they are together and not separate, right? So that is the consistency that we want to reach at, which will take a little more time. So let's continue to watch this boil and ensure it is getting cooked to perfection. Alright, so we've been alternating between high and low flame, and if you see, this is like the perfect texture that we actually wanted for the kheer, and the color has changed, the milk has thickened, the rice is completely cooked, and with the spatula itself we have about crushed or smashed few of the grains, because you don't want it to feel like biryani, right? It needs to be small grains. So we have done that, and now is the time when we will be adding the sugar to this. So keep it at a low flame while you're adding, because you will have to mix the sugar in, and there is a good chance that it gets liquidy again. So let's put in the sugar. So we have added like about a cup of sugar. So you can see the sugar has started to melt. Continue to stir it. Don't let any of the sugar particles sit down and burn. Right, so it would have a different kind of flavor where it would get caramelized. So that's something that we do not want. And I can see that the milk and the sugar is like almost separate because we were able to blend the rice into the milk. Now we'll have to do the same with the sugar as well. This will be much quicker. So while this happens, let's take another vessel in which we will be cooking the dry fruits. Alright, so for this we will use ghee. Okay, so I have my pan. But don't let this rest because we need it to be okay. So I will be using about 2 to 3 tablespoons of ghee for this. The reason being, we want our kheer to have a little rich flavor, right? So there is nothing else that has gone into it other than milk. So we will be frying the nuts in this and include this entire thing into the kheer, giving it a little bit of rich flavor. Once this gets hot, I will add in the almonds. So you need almonds to be a little bit roasted. That is when you will get the crunch in them. Okay, while the almonds have started roasting, we will add in the cashew as well. Yeah, you can get the nice aroma of the roasting almonds. So that's when we will put in our cashew as well. And just make sure to give it a good stir. We don't want to burn any of these. We just want them to have that nice crunch when they get into the kheer. Right, so let's get back to the kheer and see how he's doing. Alright, now you can see they are like almost blended together. The rice, the sugar, the milk and all of it. And the milk has thickened, leading it to change the color. So I think it's time for us to put in the dry fruits. So I had cut the dry fruits, split all of them into 2, almonds and cashew, and you can see that they have like a nice golden color now. So we will bring them up into the food. And give it a good stir. Now we are almost done with our kheer. Now we want the oil or the ghee that we had included not to stand out, but to get blended with the rice and milk. So we will let them boil for some time. Before that, let's mix the cream into the milk. Let's bring this to a boil. Keep stirring, don't forget to stir. Okay, now you can see that the oil that was on top, or the ghee that was on top, has gone into the kheer. It has blended with it, and so as our nuts. And now since this has reached the consistency that we wanted, let's turn off the flame and see how it tastes. Alright, so kheer is ready. Please do try it at home and let us know how it was Thank you for watching and have an amazing day.